Thank you. Hi, I'm Dan Wilkinson from ProPPC. I've probably got a slide on that in just a second. We're not from Google. We are a pay-per-click agency like many out there. We're a Google partner. We've been invited to come down today to share our story about how we've pretty much gone from a one-man band to a team of 5 within 12 months. So, as I said, we're ProPPC. I'm Dan Wilkinson, and we're pay-per-click AdWords consultants. We run our business today, which recently changed. We've gone from being just consultants and managing AdWords accounts. We also now do speaking, we do training, and we continue with the management as well. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that shortly. So what we're doing here, we're here just to tell the story of how we've come from one man to a team of 5. So we've been Google partners since January last year, January 2014. And before I talk about how we've got to where we are today, I just want to introduce you to the general team that we have. So this is a recent picture of the team. We have Anas, we have Joe sitting there. There's myself, Sabina, who's sitting over there. There's Steve, who's recently been away on holiday and has got too much work, so he can't be here today. And we've got Tim. We've recently had to, Tim's been pulled away from us just recently. We've had to replace Tim with Andy, who's in the back corner of the room there. What I want to say about the team is the guys on the outside, they work with the Google Partners team. Does anyone know Anas? One at the back. And does anyone know Andy? Oh, he's over there anyway. Anas is our account manager. Andy's our pay-per-click strategist. We rely on both of them quite heavily. We work with them very, very closely. And they are a key to our success. So why did we join the Google Partner Programme? Well, first of all, we just wanted the Google Partner badge. We wanted the accreditation. We wanted to be able to promote ourselves to businesses with confidence. So we also wanted to impress them. We wanted to impress all the prospects that we got in front of. We wanted to impress all our clients that we already had. We wanted lots of voucher codes to give out and hopefully our own Google account manager to be taken seriously. So what we actually got from Google Partners is a bit of a different list. So we got the badge, we got Anas, our account manager, we've got Andy as our campaign specialist, and we've got a high level of support for any new accounts, where they give us a lot of support with a new account that we bring on board for the first 3 months that we have them. It's quite crucial that they often phone up. Andy regularly phones us up saying, you know, have you thought about this for this account? Have you thought about that for that account? So it's really, really helpful advice. We agree with 90% of it. We also get quarterly business reviews. We have a hangout with Anas and Andy, and we run through benchmarks, how we're performing against our peers. We quite like those at the moment. And we get access to all the new beta features that they're bringing out in Google at the moment. Before anyone else gets to try them, we've got access to them, which our clients love, especially if we can, you know, things like a special offer tab in the shopping results. Those kind of things can really help spur an account on early on. What we love is entering the Google competitions. We've been very fortunate so far. We've won in some place or another in all of them so far. We're quite happy about that. And that has really helped us push a bit of recognition from our company into our business community, particularly local to us. We also get additional event support. So if we're throwing an event, we can ask, don't always get, but you can ask questions and you can ask for, you know, maybe some help from the Google Partners team to come along and give some help and advice before putting the event on. But most of all, it's the assistance that we've had whilst growing our business over the last 12 months has been incredible. We've had regular phone calls, we have regular meetups, and we can discuss our plans with the people in the Google Partners team, and they're very, very helpful. So I bet you're thinking you want to know a lot more about our story, and I've just kind of raised that. I'm thinking that you're thinking that you probably want the quick version, so I'm going to give you the quick version. ProPPC somewhat started about 10 years ago. That was my journey starting off in the world of entrepreneurship and internet marketing and sales. So that would be about 2005. I really wanted an iPod. My ex-partner wouldn't let me have one, so I found on eBay, someone selling job lots. So I bought a job lot of 5 And then I sold the other 4 to make my money back before she knew that any money was missing. That sparked something in me that I started retailing on eBay, getting products from all over the world. I found that eBay fees were too expensive, and this is back in 2005, before Google AdWords was such a big thing. And I started with AdWords in 2006, spending my own money on AdWords, getting my own products out there to market, and I had a business in full flow by 2008. I closed that business in 2012. The economy made it very, very difficult to continue trading. And when I closed the business, I absolutely skint, no money left in the bank. So I just started consulting. You know, needed something that was low cost to get up and running, and chose something that had large margins and, you know, little outlay to start off with. And then ProPPC was born in 2013, just 2 years ago. So starting as a solo consultant and starting pretty much from scratch, I might as well be walking around with one of these all the time. Please hire me. Got no credentials, no accreditations, and I'm saying I know what I'm doing. Of course I know what I'm doing. I spent, you know, the best part of 8 years spending my own money on this thing. Why should I be a good consultant? But getting those first 3 clients was really, really hard work. So the Google Partner Program was launched at about the same time. So we sat down, got all the exams done, got my requirements in check, got those first 3 clients spending enough to tick the spend box, and became a Google Partner. As soon as we got that badge, the very day I got that badge, put it everywhere. Let everybody know we're a Google Partner, we're affiliated with Google, and we're working closely with Google, and all this kind of info that we can spew out to people in order to try and get them on board. And it worked. It works really well. Fast forwarding to present day, this is a shot from our last quarterly business review, which shows our growth over the course of the last 5 quarters. So that's the last year and a half up until, you know, the summer this year, from January. So year on year we've gone quite well, and month on month we've done quite well, growing as well. So using the Google Partner accreditation, we expanded 1,113% in just 1 year. And that is just by literally pushing our brand and really pushing that we're a Google Partner and we can be trusted on that basis. And people like that. Helped by Anas, Tim and Andy, we expanded with added efficiency, and it was relatively problem-free. If we had a problem account, we could hand it over to Andy or Tim and have them have a look at it and solve the problems in there. If we were too busy to start accounts up, they could get them started for us. And that's the kind of help that we like to take advantage of. So I want to talk about the competitions. Has everybody heard of the Ready to Rock competition? Has anyone not heard of the Ready to Rock competition? Is everybody competing in the newest version of it? Is anyone bothered? Has anyone bothered? Wow. So that question's fairly self-explanatory then. If we rewind 16 months, we had the start of the Great Google Partner Adventure. Does anyone remember that? Now, the top prize was a Googleplex California trip, similar to the Ready to Rock program. The next 20 runner-ups was a day of inspiration upstairs in this building, and black tie dinner. The third prize was to anyone who could spend over £3,000 in ad spend, I think it was, got Team Chromecasts. What did we do? We signed up, we entered the competition. We pretty much did nothing because we assumed that the competition levels would be too high. We didn't really partake. Just didn't try hard at all. And then we got congratulations emails saying that we have won the Chromecasts. And then we got another email, if everyone could read that, saying that we're in the top 30. And we've already earned. And we thought, Christ, top 30, there must be thousands of them out there. And there's 3,000 Google Partner, people signed up Google Partners. I'm thinking that's quite an achievement. So that's when we started putting a bit of emphasis on it and trying to get new clients, just so we can get them signed up before the deadline of the Google Partner competition. And then we got the Winners' Dinner invitation, and we are invited. And we were here on I think it was the 27th of August last year, upstairs. The wine was beautiful. It was a really, really good event. We think that we were number 20. There's so many people, so many decent businesses there that we don't think that we would have won against them, but still, we were in attendance. We were really, really pleased. That gave us a great deal of inspiration to really start pressing a lot harder. So the next competition was the Spirit of Summer competition, which was launched last summer, and we came third in that. We had third place, so we were really chuffed. We got a nice big goodie bag with some Android Skittles and things like that in there. It was quite a good sense of achievement. So if anyone's thinking, so what, where's this going? So well, I want to lead on to what we actually did with these, with the winnings that we had at the competitions. Because it didn't help business directly in that sense, apart from what we were telling our clients, that we were in top 3 here and top 20 there, and they love that. They really, really do love that kind of thing. But we also used the winnings to apply for awards. So we were at the local business awards up in North Wales, where we come from. We applied for several, and we were finalists in all of them. And this was the Daily Post Business Awards. That's by Trinity Mirror. Very, very hard awards to get accepted into. We didn't win. We were beaten by Zip World. Does anyone know who Zip World is? They're the Europe's largest zip wire, the world's fastest zip line, and that's up in North Wales. And if you want to Google that, you'll see how big it is. They've just opened up an underground zip line in through caves, so you can go in the dark, and the underground is quite. I've not been on it. So just to recap on the competitions, we had support evidence, quite a lot of it, to back up the awards that we wanted, which paved the way to the finals. And when you're in the finals and awards, everybody that's there wants to know who you are. We weren't just the only pay-per-click agency in attendance to all of the ones that we attended. We were the only agency full stop. So all of those businesses that need advertising, we were the only point of call. So it opened many, many doors to new clients. And we were quite amazed that even now, even just last week, we're still getting phone calls from people that we met all that time ago. And last October, last November, wanting to work with us. And they're not even considering anyone else at all. They just want to work with us because we were at the awards with them. So it's incredible. When we tell these stories, it spurs other businesses on to use us. It gives everyone a lot of confidence. So as a solo, going back to it, as a solo consultant, this is getting a little bit too heavy. So I had to employ a team. The first person is Jo. Jo's sitting here with a GoPro, just there. And she's always been involved, my better half. And but after the winners' dinner last August, she became really involved, really inspired, and really involved in pushing the company forward. And is the one that applied for the awards. We have Steve. Some people know Steve, perhaps. Steve is not here today because he's got too much work to do. He's just got married last week, but we employed Steve last November. And as a pay-per-click account manager, he's now also doing a lot of speaking with us as well. And he's very, very good. And we employed Sabina in February. Sabina is just over there. Sabina does all our copywriting, and she's brand new to internet marketing. She didn't do any internet marketing before joining with us, and she's pretty good at her job, doing all kinds of written context for us, left, right, and centre. So meanwhile, whilst we're going through these transitions and change from, say, October through to February this year, the Grow Local competition was well underway. Fortunately for us, this was a 6-month competition, and we really hadn't participated at all by the time we got to January or so, January or February. So we were running very well behind. We thought that we weren't going to get a placement on this at all. So after being too busy training the team and reorganising the business and establishing new sales funnels, starting late as well, I started getting myself focused entirely on sales for the business. And then we had Steve, who was entirely focused on doing all the pay-per-click for the business. So he did all the account management. This proved to be quite a winning combination. You don't take your finger off the sales pulse, you carry on getting the business in, or that's supposedly what's meant to happen. So firstly, we get the spend level to a point where we're on the hampers winners. So we all enjoyed a picnic in the office and enjoyed the food was magnificent in the hampers. And then we got through to the top 50 Grow Local garden party winners. So this is the 3rd competition in a row that we were winning on. So we were quite chuffed to make that. We were a little bit unexpected. We didn't think that we would place because we'd left it so late before starting. But it just goes to show that even if you start late, you can still get there. And we're not a large company. We're not a big agency turning over millions of pounds worth of ad spend or anything like that. But we're still able to compete and get a placement. So everything's looking good, but unfortunately, in a little bit of the smoke, we found that our leads were slowing down to a point that they almost stopped, and we had no incoming leads. The marketplace had changed. We were struggling with the ways that we were generating leads previously. We were struggling to keep on generating them in the same way. And what was working wasn't working anymore. We have a look at 2014. We were advertising quite a lot on the Google search engine ourselves as pay-per-click experts. In 2015, we felt that the competition level had increased and was a lot more competitive and expensive, and we didn't have the funds or the bottle to really carry on competing, so we wanted to find something else. The competition level was high to begin with. It's even higher in 2015, but I'm only guessing, following this pattern, that 2016 is going to be, a lot worse than 2015 for competition. Also, last year, the new business was to fund me. It was one-man consultancy, working from home, visiting businesses, and we've grown into a team of 5, so we have a lot of mouths to feed and more wages to pay. So the same rate of growth wasn't going to cover it, So we were faced earlier on in the year with laying people off, or we were to grow the company and keep up with our own internal growing system. So that's quite a problem. Before I tell you what we did to solve that, I want to show you what effect our internal marketing changes had on the company. So back to this graph of the last 8 quarters, we want to draw ourselves to that line there, which is 15 quarter 1. This line here, which is 15 quarter 2. And during that 1 quarter, so that's over the space of 3 months, we grew 95%. That's a quarter-on-quarter growth, and we made one big change to the business, one big change to the way that we approach our new clients. We became chameleons. We started studying our environment around us. We started blending in and looking and observing and understanding what it is that we can do for our community. So we're taking the focus off ourselves, and we focused locally. It's grow time. We started thinking well outside the box. We're thinking, how are we going to solve our issues? How are we going to get over this? And at speed. We want to get there quickly. And one thing that I kept, an image that I had in my mind was, by focusing our efforts on a niche area or a smaller area, we're able to multiply the effects that we have on that area. So we are sharpening our system, sharpening our pencil to have a much finer point. The analogy I have is it's a bit like the sun on paper through a magnifying glass. If you want to set fire to a piece of paper, you don't hold it up to the sun like that. But the sun holds all the energy that you need to set it on fire. You just got to use the magnifying glass to focus it into a point where you can do that. So what did we do? We started speaking. Now, I'm not recommending that everybody goes out and starts speaking, because it's for some people and it's not for others. But it's a great way to go. I've got a couple of other examples that we can use, but I want to focus on how we got an audience into a room. I was speaking as I'm doing now to a nice big room, which is fantastic. We've got lots of people, but you can do this to a team of 5 people. You can talk to one person. It's actually much harder to talk to one person than it is to 100, by the way. But you can speak to a group of 3 or 4 people, that kind of thing, and just get in front of businesses in your area. So we marketed initially to our LinkedIn connections. Everyone's got lots of LinkedIn connections. We can piggyback on other people's LinkedIn connections just by email, and we marketed the event as a free event, and it's put on by a Google partner. We wanted to test how much does the brand Google partner have. I honestly think that many businesses don't see the word partner; they just see Google, and they want to just go to a Google event or whatever. So that was initially how we set off with this project. So we made the event completely free to attend. We put the event on ourselves at a local university, and we got people out of their shells, away from their businesses, and into a position where we could talk to them, educate them about the way that internet marketing is working at the moment, where it appears to be heading, and certainly talking about the past and what is not relevant anymore. So the content we included was some web design tips. This is giving people instant value because they can look at their own website and go, do you know, crap, we don't have the telephone number on our website. How do we expect people to contact us? We discussed some myths around internet marketing today. things like clearing up some things that people may have misconception about how pay-per-click works or how SEO works, etc. We had an extended presentation on the power of pay-per-click, and we actually talked through, probably spent about 10 or 15 minutes on each network and talked through each network and how they can be used to leverage business. Many people absolutely shocked that, you know, the YouTube videos that pop up before you're trying to watch a video is actually a Google ad. And many people not realising how many ads they see on the display network. They just, you know, oh, I didn't know the Daily Post had so many adverts on it. And finally, we emphasised the importance of using Google Partner, what benefits that people would have by coming to a Google Partner rather than learning it yourself. Why would you use another company? Why would you outsource? My favourite example is, say, yeah, do you do your own accounts? Do you file your own accounts at the end of the year, or do you hire an accountant? Well, if you file your pay-per-click accounts incorrectly, you're going to get penalties. You're going to get irrelevant clicks, and your costs in the end are going to go up. And making that kind of relevance kind of you know, really kind of got people on board in that kind of way. So how this works so well? What we didn't do was sell to the people in front of us. We were informing them and letting them know how they should be placing themselves online. I think that this is absolutely crucial because people don't like being sold to. People spot it immediately, and they tend to want to shy away from it. So the event was about educating our local businesses, our community businesses, all within sort of 10-15 mile radius, some a little bit further away. And there's an awful lot of them in any location. There's an awful lot of businesses in that kind of radius. So the other thing that we did is we made everybody fill out a feedback card. The feedback cards had about 18 questions on them, A5, double-sided, printed nicely on a sheet of card. Branded, they looked really inviting to fill out. I think the card was cream-coloured, wasn't it, or a grey, yeah? Just made it look really inviting, soft fonts. And people were surprisingly honest when writing down and not leaving their name. But most people left their name and number on the feedback card. There's two of the questions. So one of the questions was, which PPC networks would benefit your business? This isn't a no question. You can't say no to that. You're forced to pick one. It didn't really matter what people picked, but they're ticking a box saying that you can contact them. What is your marketing budget? Some people put preferred not to say, but many people were very honest, and they ticked the box that they felt that their company would fall into a bracket of up to £1,000, up to £10,000, up to £50,000, or prefer not to say. So the third question was, which of our services would interest you? Again, this is not an question you can say no to. So people were ticking, well, we want some training, or we want some management, or we just want some more free information. Those kind of things. So if they wanted more free information, we'll give them some more free information, but that would be turning into a sales pitch at that point. We give them some training if that's what they wanted. We give them some management if that's what they wanted. But every time that someone ticked the box, it gave us a clear sign that they wanted to be contacted. So every feedback card that we generated was a red-hot lead. And when I phoned them up saying, it's Dan from ProPPC, how are you doing? Like, hi Dan, how's it going? You know, as simple as that. It's, there's no trying to get past the gatekeepers. There's no trying to... If you do get gatekeepers, just say, oh, they're at my event yesterday. Oh, I'll just put you through. There's no problem whatsoever. So it's the single best thing we've done is the feedback cards. We've pretty much rewritten our sales program to suit our business environment. What the information that we got on the feedback cards allowed us to tune directly into the market and understand what they want, and removed all guesswork. This has proved very, very successful for us. So we changed our approach completely. Now, we were previously pro-PPC, the Google AdWords conversion experts. Now we're just speaking, training and management. And three very, telling words, and three that tend to grab the community and make them want to come and speak to us, because speaking, first and foremost, is non-threatening. We're not selling, we're just talking. And training, that's fine. Nobody minds going for training if you want to. Management, okay, but the amount of people that go through speaking onto training and then they just want the management doing because they're sold on the model is quite a high percentage. Has anyone heard of the 80-20 rule? Can I have a show of hands? interested? Everybody? Okay, does anyone really like the rule? No, just me. Okay, so 80% of businesses will, 80% of business will come from 20% of your customers, I think is the rule that everybody's heard. And that's the most popular one. But have you considered that 80% of your profits also comes from 20% of your customers? 80% of all trouble you get from your customers will also come from 20% of those customers. Those are the ones we want to push to one side and leave alone. So I've got another 80-20 rule here. 80% of your 80% of your competitors are targeting only 20% of the possible customers out there, because they're all targeting in the same way, so they're only getting a certain amount. So what do we have to do to find the other 80% that nobody else is targeting? Well, that's exactly as I was saying. By coaching local businesses, by getting in front of people and making it an appealing thing to come down and listen to what you've got to say, get them out of their shells, we're able to promote the pay-per-click systems, we're able to promote Google to them and tell them where they've been going wrong. They have confidence in you. They're not interested in looking elsewhere, and they become fresh new business. So mainly, these businesses will not have been looking for a Google partner, or they wouldn't have been looking for a pay-per-click agency to work with. So you get them at the source before they go anywhere else. They will not have spoken to any of your competitors, and you will become, in their eyes, the local authority or expert in pay-per-click advertising, and there will be no need to go and speak to somebody else. Google AdWords will quickly become the marketing tool that they cannot do without, because we all know how fantastic it is, and we all understand how it works. So this is a real win-win for everybody, for both you and Google. Why it's a win for Google is you're not competing with all of your competitors to get the business that they're going to get anyway, because businesses that are already searching for a Google partner or an agency to take care of their AdWords is already going to be a Google business, or is going to be business for Google. And you're generating fresh new business for Google out of seemingly thin air, which is fantastic. Now, why is this a win for you as well? Exactly the same reasons. We're not competing, we're not spending money competing where we have to pay higher click prices or we have to outbid people in magazine articles or whatever the form may be, but we're generating fresh new leads just from talking to the community around you. And this is exactly what we've done. So, as I said earlier, we don't have to hold seminars. You can present individually to other business owners. I highly recommend pulling them away from their office where they hold all the cards and have all the power and they get interrupted by the telephone. A very, very difficult environment to be in. You can take them to a coffee shop. My rule of thumb is take them somewhere they want to go. If you're planning on pitching to Abramovich, you're going to have to be very, very creative in where you're going to invite him to go. It's got to be worth his while. But a CEO of a large company, you know, data races, that kind of thing, you can spend a lot of time discussing on and off advertising and slowly dripping it in, that kind of thing. So my preferred format is to try and get together 5 or 6 people from different businesses to come for a little bit of a networking event at a hired office in Regis or at the university or wherever. You know, we have stands at local business fairs. So we can also do WebEx and GoToMeeting. A couple of these I've kind of jotted down. But the important thing is to get in front of the businesses and away from their premises, which is easier than you might think when tempted with the right offer. So I want to leave the presentation on a couple of do's and don'ts, but these are all examples of what we've done and found that it didn't work. So these are lessons learned, some a bit harder than others. Don't be the same as everyone else. Being the same as everyone else, it'll be wrong. If everyone's doing the same thing and everyone's marketing in the same places, you're just, you know, a small number in a large crowd. Turn left, turn right, do something completely different. Don't copy others, because the people who design, write presentations or develop marketing strategies tend to do it to fit them. Be influenced, by all means. Take good ideas and develop them into your own, but don't directly copy. Don't pretend to be something you're not. We've noticed over the years, when it was me last year, I was trying to pretend that there was a team of us, and that, you know, we're bigger than we look. All this kind of wording. It didn't fool anybody. When when I just like it's just me. People were very much on board with that, and I think that for every business looking for a large agency, there is also a business looking for a small consultancy that they feel they can rely on the individual. So don't make false claims, very important. We have not done that very much, but when we have kind of bent the truth a little bit, it's always come back to bite us in the bum. And don't argue with your clients, especially on email. I would also say we should not ever give them an ultimatum also. If you give a client an ultimatum, there's only one way they're going to pick, and it's not going to be in your favour. So I've got 5 do's on top of that. So the first thing is be unique. This is very similar to don't copy others, but do be unique. Try and do something that nobody else is doing. Try and really focus on what you're good at, nobody else seems to be good at, and try and find your unique abilities. Be very honest with yourselves, with your staff, with your customers, with your family. Be very honest with everybody about your business. They will always appreciate that. If you feel that you have to tell a white lie, really question why. And look for different dimensions in lead generation. As I say again, everybody's doing the same thing to try and get those leads through the door. Just instead of chopping a cake up that way, try cutting it sideways into slices. Just try and find a different way of looking at a given situation from a different side of the box. And that kind of thinking, lots of information online to look at, that kind of thinking really can force development. Plan your strategy. I speak to so many people that are just like, God, I hope the phone will ring today. Well, the phone didn't ring yesterday. The phone didn't ring the day before. Why is it all of a sudden going to ring today? And we have to really plan. We have to look ahead. We have to really kind of understand what's not been working and what we need to do to make the future work. So listen to your clients' and wants and needs. It took us far too long to learn this, far too long. It's kind of obvious. Of course we should, but we didn't. We were too focused on ourselves. And only recently have we started asking questions like, what could we do? What could we do to make this better for you? And you get the answers. You get the answers straight away. They tell you, well, do you know what? One of them says, I really want the calls at 9 o'clock, not 9:30. Because we always have a debrief in the morning. So for this one client, we moved the calls to 9 o'clock and he's far happier, just a simple little thing. We've had other clients saying that, you know, they want to completely overhaul the accounts, which we're not so happy about. But still, they're happier clients, and that's the main thing. So I just wanted to, my main point of my presentation is really to stop competing with all your competitors, look for something that they're not doing, really kind of focus your efforts into a certain niche or into a smaller area and try and get your clients in that way. But focusing your efforts on a smaller area is like the sun on paper through a magnifying glass. And that's a really, you know, crap example of how it works, but I'm sure it gives everyone the right idea. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. And speak to you in a bit.
Thank you very much, Dan. For me, it was a very